Hey guys, what's going on? Darren here, and welcome back to the F1 22 My Team Career Mode. And this time, we're at Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix. If you haven't checked out the last video, what are you doing? Go back, go check it out. It was a great race. We were in Austria. It was a sprint weekend. You had two races, and honestly, they were both just brilliant. So go back, go check it out if you haven't already. Before you go check out this race at Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix. You can see we're currently just looking through the facilities as we have $2.3 million to spend. So just looking at what we can spend that money on, and I decided, you know what, we're going to go with the build time for the chassis because we really need to start putting some parts on this chassis because we need to improve the chassis, we need to improve the facilities for it, and obviously we need to improve everything with the aerodynamics and the powertrain as well. So we're going to start focusing on those as well now that we've got the money, and of course we've got Théo Pourchaire signed on until the end of the season. So in the last episode we extended our contract with Théo Pourchaire, so we've got him now until the end of this season. And you can see here, this is just the Pirelli Hot Lap Challenge, and I skipped it straight to round 3 because this is the rival duel. First one, second one, they're very easy to win, and round 3 is probably the hardest one to win, but it's still actually very easy, and we do that with a lot of ease as it's time for qualifying. So here we go now. It's qualifying for the French Grand Prix, and we've skipped it straight to the end of qualifying. So we've done our banker lap, and you can see our banker lap is good enough for P22. So, bit of a disaster, let's be honest. But this second run is so far going a lot better than the first run, as we are up by 0.8 of a second. And are we going to be able to maintain that until the end of this lap? It's going to be very important that we can, because if we can, if you can look at that right now, we're 0.2 up on Albon. So we may be able to get up to P18, maybe even P17, or even P16, which would just be absolutely brilliant for us in the Pulse Motorsport as we skip it now right to the end of the lap. And we're still in P22, but we're 8/10 up. Where are we going to end up for this French Grand Prix? We are P20. And that's not very good, so I've decided, you know what, for the French Grand Prix, we're going to take an entire new power unit. We may as well, we're only in P20, so we're going to take a new power unit and start the French Grand Prix from 22nd place. It's time now for the French Grand Prix.
Here we are again then at Le Castellet for another round of this year's Formula One World Championship. Renault took their first French Grand Prix win all the way back in the inaugural race in 1906, but it was another 73 years before they could take their second. I'm sure Alpine will be pushing hard to delight the local fans here today. A lap of Paul Ricard then consists of 15 corners and a total length of around 3.6 miles. Drivers will need to position their cars carefully on the exit of the flat-out turn 10, ready for the double apex right-hander at 11. Watch out for potential overtaking action at the end of the start-finish straight and into the heavy braking zone of turn 8. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Verstappen, Sergio Perez, and Russell, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Bottas, and Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, and Joe, Stroll, Gasly, Sebastian Vettel, and Yuki Tsunoda, Théo Pourchaire, Albon, Latifi, and Bennett. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And with me today, of course, is Natalie Pinkham. Let's start with the new Alfa Romeo driver. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
So, it looks like both Latifi and Albon have both taken penalties. So, to be honest, if we didn't take a penalty, we'd have gone from P20 to P19. So, yeah, it's worth just taking the penalty. I mean, we need fresh power units, you know. So taking a fresh unit for this Grand Prix, it makes full sense because, like I said, both the Williams are the only other drivers who have taken penalties anyway. So we'd have gained 1 place, which is not really that much in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, the race is now underway. You can see we've got an absolutely shocking start, but into turn 1, we're able to run it right around the outside of both the Williamses and Yuki Tsunoda there. So we got a terrible start, but we were able to run it around the outside to get up to P19 and then into this right left-hander. Locked up a little bit, but we're going to go now down the inside. That's past Teo Pourchaire and Sebastian Vettel. Can we make it stick? Yes, we can. So up now to P17. That's through past both there, our teammate and Sebastian Vettel. It looks like we did have a slight contact with Sebastian Vettel on the exits of that chicane, but Vettel hasn't sustained any damage, thankfully. So yeah, it was a bit clumsy, but we have managed to get past without any incidents. Oh, well, without any damage to both myself or Sebastian Vettel. If you look on the minimap, though, you can see Charles Leclerc has got a huge gap already from Carlos Sainz in second place, with Lando Norris in third place currently. So that's very interesting to see. This is the first race since the patch. Now, we've heard a lot about the patch and the issues that it has caused. But one of the things that the patch has done is it has changed the performance a little bit of some of the cars. And one of the cars that has been improved in the performance index is McLaren. And it's good to see that with this patch now, Lando Norris in the McLaren is right now up in P3. So that patch has really helped Lando Norris and the McLaren cars out. And it'll be interesting to see how the McLaren gets on in the second half of the season. As we go now to lap 2, we've just finished the first lap. And as you can see, we're right all over the back of Pierre Gasly and Zhou Guanyu. Pierre Gasly is now our rival in Formula 1. That was decided at the end of the last Grand Prix at Silverstone. It was decided after the Austrian Grand Prix, I should say. Not the British Grand Prix, that's a lie. But it was decided after the Austrian Grand Prix that Pierre Gasly is now our rival. And you can see here, he is directly in front of us. So we're going to be looking to try and find a way past Pierre Gasly. We're all over the back of him. So far, I'm feeling very confident that we've got a lot of pace. And we can definitely find a way past Pierre Gasly. We just have to set us up in the right spot because we are slow in a straight line. And I'm thinking here, are we going to go for it? Down the inside on Pierre Gasly. Can we make it stick? Yes, we can. Through past Pierre Gasly. Down the inside. And that's us up to P16. However, Pierre Gasly now is going to get the DRS. And with the DRS, is he going to be able to find a way past us down the inside or down the outside? We're going to go to the inside. We're going to defend the inside line. And Gasly's going to look for a move around the outside. And Gasly went for a move down the inside. He turned in on us there, which was, yeah, I don't know what he expected. I think he just expected we would disappear. Despite the fact we were at the apex, he thought we'd disappear there. So Gasly tried throwing it around the outside, just turned in on us. But thankfully somehow didn't damage his car, or at least didn't damage it too bad because we have managed to open up a gap to Pierre Gasly of 2.6 seconds. But yeah, I don't know what Gasly was expecting there to happen, but it didn't work out for Gasly, and we've managed to drop Gasly a little bit now. As we go to lap 7, you can see the yellow flags are out now, and the yellow flags are out because that is McLaren pulling off. It's Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo, who started on the hard compound tyres and was going to go long in this Grand Prix, is out of the French Grand Prix. That is a disaster for Ricciardo. Ricciardo was looking very strong. He had a few pretty awful races recently, which you could see as he was our rival. So we were really keeping track of Ricciardo's progress. And Ricciardo did have some very difficult races recently. So yeah, that's a shame for him. Started doing well, started finishing in a great position, and he's out. So he's not going to finish in that great position. But you can see here now we are challenging Zhou Guanyu, and this is for P14 here in France. So we look for it down the inside, but not to be done there. But we're going to stick to the inside on the exit of Le Beauce, and we have got past Zhou Guanyu at the exit of Le Beauce. We were able to stick it down the inside, and that's us now up into P14. And just look at the minimap. Look at the minimap. You can see here Ferrari, they've got a huge gap to Lando Norris, and Lando Norris is holding up a lot of cars here in front of Lance Stroll as we go to lap number 9. And you can see that Norris, he is backing the pack up massively. The two Ferraris are getting away, and they've got a huge gap now to Lando Norris in third place. So things are looking very comfortable for the two Ferraris in this Grand Prix. And you've got to be thinking at some point Max Verstappen should be finding a way past Lando Norris. He's just got to do it at some point, especially if Max Verstappen wants to try and win this championship. He needs to get past Lando Norris because, yeah, Charles Leclerc is running away with this championship and currently running away with this French Grand Prix. But back to us now, and it's lap 9, and we are now all over the back here of Lance Stroll. And here at the exit of the Mistral Straight, we got a good exit here. And we've got the ERS turned up. We're going to look for a move down the inside into the fast right-hander. Can we make it stick? We go down the inside on Lance Stroll. Can we make it stick? We're through past Stroll, but Stroll's going to be coming to try and move back down the inside into Labose. But then he runs wide on the exit. And we managed to get back past Lance Stroll. And that is us up to P12 in this French Grand Prix. Let's take a look at that again on the replay. Lance Stroll running a little bit wide, and yeah, he managed to get us back down the inside, but ran wide, and we were able to then stick it back down the inside. As Crofty would say, we did the old switcheroo on Lance Stroll. We did the up and under. We let Stroll go through, and then we just tucked back into the inside and took the place back from Lance Stroll. Lovely jubbly. So that is us now up into P12 in this French Grand Prix, and things are starting to look very good for us now. As well, things were looking good for us in this French Grand Prix. Yeah, we're out. This is our first mechanical retirement of the season. We've actually done very well, I think, to go this far into the season without having any mechanical failures. But yeah, lap 10, and we are suffering our first mechanical failure of the season for Pulse Motorsport. It started off very well, but we're out of the Grand Prix. So there we are, just making it back to the pit lane. And yep, that's our first DNF due to mechanical failures for this season.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance in today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
So, Carlos Sainz then. It was Carlos Sainz up front, and Carlos Sainz has won the French Grand Prix from Charles Leclerc in second place, and Lando Norris somehow managed to hold on to P3 in that McLaren. This patch has brought McLaren very nicely into this championship fight, I think. And we could see McLaren taking points away now from Red Bull Racing. So, as I said, Carlos Sainz wins the French Grand Prix from Charles Leclerc in second, Lando Norris third, George Russell is fourth for Mercedes, Hamilton fifth, Max Verstappen finishing all the way down in P6. That is a disaster for Max Verstappen, with Perez 7th, Bottas 8th, Ocon 9th, and Fernando Alonso rounds out the top 10. And only 2 cars did not finish the French Grand Prix. That was Daniel Ricciardo and myself. That sucks. That sucks. We were on for a good result, I think, here in France, but it's not to be. In the Drivers' Championship, Charles Leclerc now has a 59-point gap from Max Verstappen in second place. And we are still in P13 in the Drivers' Championship. And Pulse Motorsports are P9 in the Constructors. So, sadly, it was a bit of a short video thanks to the retirement. But I hope you guys at least enjoyed that video. And we'll see you again soon for the next round, which is the Hungarian Grand Prix. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
For the next Grand Prix.